So I wasn't even meant to be in Toronto that weekend, but I had just broken up with my boyfriend, and I wanted to get the fuck out of Dodge. Toronto was as far as my budget would stretch, though. Now, normally when I go to Toronto, I stay with my half-sister Kim, but she had a really bad cold, so I was staying with my friend Liz. Liz spells her name with an S, which will be a minor plot point in a little bit. So Liz and I spent a chilly Saturday in March day drinking horrendous white wine and chatting. I talk about my breakup, she unloads about her boyfriend's depression, we laugh, and then eventually, that's what you do, right? Eventually I tell her about an email I received from my dad maybe a year before. It was addressed to me and my two half-siblings, and the subject line was, "Your other sister." I thought it was about me. I was wrong. Here's how it began. As you all know, I fathered another child as a result of a brief encounter, open parentheses, one night stand, close parentheses, at a National Criminal Law Conference in St. John's in July of 1986. That's what he wrote verbatim. I made it a little bit less awkward, but I don't know which part I like more, the fact that he used a euphemism for one night stand or the fact that he felt the need to explicate it immediately thereafter. After getting over that doozy of an opener, I sat down and I read the rest of the email, learning a lot about my brand new surprise sister. She was 2.5 years younger than me. She was raised by a strong, smart, single mom like me, who was a lawyer like mine. She grew up in Ottawa, but she went to McGill, so did I, and she studied English, like me. And now she lived in Toronto. So that means, I say to Liz, and I think I turned my back to her and gestured dramatically, drunkenly, out the window. She's out there, somewhere. So we have drunk all of Liz's really bad white wine at that point. We decide to get out there somewhere. And we head for a bar that Liz knows, but it's cold and we don't really care. So we go to a closer bar Liz knows, where we start ordering doubles of their cheapest possible whiskey. And there, in the city that I do not live in, with the person I was not meant to be with, in the bar we were not supposed to go to, a chain of chance encounters is just set off. Liz bumps into her friend Ivy, who's with her boyfriend Jordan. We grab a table for the four of us that's way too big, as if the bar knows some shit is about to go down. Then Jordan bumps into his half-brother's stepsister, also named Liz. Liz spells their name with a Z, I told you. Liz starts talking about how Jordan and their shared brother didn't know about each other until much later in life. So then Liz with an S, my Liz, pipes up and she's like, "Oh, well, Caitlin's got a story. She should tell it now." And so I do. I tell them about the email. And in relaying the story, I include details that I normally hadn't. Like my surprise sister's name, Jade, the year she was born, 1987, and the fact that she doesn't have a relationship with her father, who's my father also. It's at that point that I notice that Liz with a Z's face has gone totally white. So they say, my friend's name is Jade. She was born in 1987, and she doesn't know her dad. And she's on her way to this bar right now. It was 5 seconds before I realized I'm just on repeat. I bolt outside, my hands are shaking, I light a cigarette, which means I must have asked someone for a cigarette, because I don't actually smoke. I call Kim, I guess with this hand, right? I call Kim, who's sick at home in bed, and she listens as I slowly freak out. Jade's coming to the bar, Jade's coming to the bar, Jade's coming to the bar. Kim, sozzled on Sudafed, slurs back. Call me in the morning, we'll talk about how you feel. She's a psychiatrist. So Liz with an S joins me outside. We can go, she says. We can leave right now. And she's right. But I can't, right? Like, I grew up positively yearning for more family. I have these two amazing half-siblings, but they're a decade and a half older than me. They moved out of province by the time I was in preschool, which was when my parents split up. It was mostly just me and my mom, and I love her, we're close, but it's not easy. I remember so badly wanting someone whose room I could traipse into and be like, Mom's being crazy today, and they'd like nod knowingly, and we'd high five and like sneak out the window, whatever it is siblings do, I don't know. And so Jade wouldn't have been that, right? Like she was in Ottawa, but maybe we might have like tied up our mom's cordless phones for hours. Maybe we would have gone to university together instead of just at the same time. And now the universe was giving me a chance for more family. What was I gonna do, say no? So Liz with an S and I head back inside the bar and make our way towards our table of almost missed connections. And there she is, sitting at the table. She's materialized out of thin air, the way an email can land in your inbox and change everything. I wait for a lull in the conversation. Jade likes to talk. And it takes years, it feels like. When there's finally a break, I go to open my mouth and no sound comes out. And then I like watch myself try to shake her hand. Hi, she says, full of confidence, which I would later learn was actually just a little bit of cocaine. I know who you are. And she says this full of kindness. And of course she does, because Liz with a Z's not a sociopath and told her that I would be there. Do you want to go outside to talk? And I do. So we do, stopping for some reason to get another drink on the way. And outside we get to chatting about my dad, our dad. I guess. I mean, what else would we have talked about, right? But the truth of it is, whether it was due to the surfeit of alcohol or adrenaline or alcohol, I don't actually remember a thing about that first conversation, and that used to really bum me out. But then I realized it was just our first conversation, and we've had a decade's worth of them since. That's very sweet. Like a couple months later, we met up, this time planned, here in Montreal. Shout out Notre-Dame-des-Quais. Apparently, we both changed our outfits like a bunch of times before leaving the house that night. The summer after that, I had dinner with her the night before my second date with the guy I'd go on to marry. I think I met someone. I'd tell her, shout out Jeremy. She came to our wedding, she planned my baby shower. She made a point of visiting our kids 4 times one summer after like a few COVID-contained years. And just this past winter, she came to New Brunswick for like a very bizarro Brady Bunch Christmas with me and our half-siblings. And now we're dealing with like dementia dad stuff, which is not fun, but having another person at that table really helps. And through it all, we've had a bunch of hours-long phone calls, which I love. And my teenage self would too, because I got that extra bit of family I always wanted, gradually, and then like all at once. Thank you.